And not only has the UK helped millions realize their dreams and aspirations, but we continue to strive towards equality in realizing those opportunities. We continue to strive towards a time where the country you were born in or your ethnic background doesn't impact your chances of getting a call back for a job interview or your quality of healthcare. Thank you, Madam President, for the opportunity to speak in this historic chamber on a motion that is of such importance to the millions of immigrants across our country. Like many others here today, I'm one of them. I came to this country when I was 2 years old. I grew up in East London and Essex. I was educated in British schools, treated by the UK's National Health Service, and given a sense of community by those around me. I've come to be grateful for the immigration system which has allowed me to do all of this. Now, I do not deny that there exist flaws in this system, and not all immigrants' experiences will have been the same. But the UK remains a bastion of hope, and this far outweighs the shortcomings of our system. Now, the graduate officer rightfully made this positive case for the UK's treatment of immigrants. So let me just for a moment address some of the points brought up by the proposition. How can the UK justify its treatment of immigrants when it sends those who make the perilous journey to come here to a country they never intended to reach? On the face of it, the arguments surrounding the government's Rwanda policy certainly are valid. Now, I'm not here to defend the practicalities of this policy, but I hold that these efforts to incentivize legal over illegal immigration represent something much greater. That the UK will go further than any other country to ensure the safe relocation of those escaping their homes in fear. 147 migrants have died trying to cross the English Channel since 2018. 16 of them were children. Where there are migrants drowning in the English Channel, the government committed £700 million for the management of their safe arrival, supplemented by the British public donating £60 million to the RNLI, who save migrants in our waters. Where there are concerns of the message this policy would send, and the potential for creating a culture of suspicion towards the immigrants of our country, annual hate crime figures decreased for the first time in a decade. And where there are concerns regarding the safety of Rwanda, the Home Secretary established a legally binding international treaty to ensure that migrants processed there would not have their rights encroached upon. Even further, I'm sure many of you will be aware of the recent Supreme Court rulings and news surrounding the Rwanda bill. It is important to note that the Supreme Court did not express a view of the overall risk of Rwanda for migrants. In fact, they considered it unnecessary for them to deliberate on this topic, but rather what proponents of the proposition's position often refer to is the Supreme Court's ruling that Rwanda posed a risk of refoulement for migrants. And this issue has been addressed in great detail. A treaty with Rwanda to protect against refoulement and establish independent monitoring has already been signed. And the government published a policy paper just a week ago detailing countless other measures, from free legal representation to protections against discrimination. Rwanda currently accommodates over 135,000 refugees and is home to a UN refugee scheme too. To claim that the government is abandoning migrants to an unsafe country is simply an untrue assessment. All of this demonstrates that the UK doesn't shy away from its duty towards immigrants. And even if you deny the government's accommodations of them, then I'm sure you will recognize the British public's support of them. But of course, it has not always been like this. I accept it is important to note instances such as the Windrush scandal. However, the proposition's framing of this as a trend in government policy and an overall failing of immigrants is surely untrue. Theresa May, who was the Home Secretary and later Prime Minister during the scandal, has gone on to apologize for the hostile environment policies which led to it. The Home Office itself has implemented 30 reform commitments they made following the scandal, and over £75 million in compensation has been paid out to the Windrush victims. Any form of monetary compensation will never be enough to compensate for the pain and suffering caused by the scandal. But what this demonstrates is that through the scrutiny of our legislature, our judicial system, our press, and indeed us, the public, the UK has the unique ability to make amends for its previous failings and ensure that the rights of immigrants are upheld in the present, which is what this motion refers to. This motion is greater than any one government at any given point in time. It's about us as a whole. And it is the mark of a great nation to be able to be introspective, to be able to acknowledge our wrongdoings, to correct injustices caused and ensure that they never happen again. And it is not just that we right our wrongs and enact change, but we make the positive case for immigration. No one here will deny the economic opportunities afforded to migrants, and the median income of foreign-born full-time employees in our country being £1,400 greater than that of those born in the UK demonstrates the sheer extent of this prosperity. And not only has the UK helped millions realize their dreams and aspirations, but we continue to strive towards equality in realizing those opportunities. We continue to strive towards a time where the country you were born in or your ethnic background doesn't impact your chances of getting a call back for a job interview or your quality of healthcare. Our institutions aren't perfect. I don't think they are for any country. But to say that the inequalities migrants experience constitutes an absolute failure on the part of the UK is to disregard our continued efforts to make our institutions truly equal and the greater context of our immigration system being cause for millions of people being better off. You don't need to just take my word for it. 91% of immigrants surveyed by the Migration Observatory, which is based here in the University of Oxford, said that they have the opportunity to get ahead in this country. On the same point of inequality and discrimination, 13% in the same survey said that they had been insulted because of their ethnicity, nationality, religion, language, or accent. Any number for discrimination is too high. At the same time, this shows the relative progress we are making in reducing discrimination compared to other Western countries, for which this figure is higher. The UK remains a country of cohesion and acceptance. Considering our history, we're unique in that respect. My great-grandfather was imprisoned in the 1940s for his role in the Indian independence movement. To think that his grandson, great-grandson, would one day be accepted by the same nation that he fought against, be able to enjoy the same privileges as the descendants of his adversaries, is nothing short of a miracle. This is the dream of immigration in the UK. A dream that in the century after an empire, where nearly 500 million people were subjugated under unequal terms, that we can remedy the clashes of our ancestors and come together on equal terms as one nation. The UK is not failing immigrants. The virtues of our country and the benefits reaped by myself and many others in this chamber far outweigh our shortcomings. It is for this reason that I urge all of you to vote with the opposition tonight. Thank you.